My sister said I was too embarrassing for her influencer friends, so I cut the power to her party and got her arrested for the fraud she posted about online. Hey, I'm Sam, a 30-year-old guy who's always been the go-to responsible person in my family. I've been doing the construction foreman gig for about 10 years now. The pay's decent, but man, my back's definitely feeling all those years of heavy lifting. I kicked off my career at 22, starting right at the bottom, swinging a hammer as a basic worker. I climbed up the ladder through pure grit and by showing up every day, even on those sick and bruised days. 3 years in, my boss finally took notice and gave me a promotion. Now, I'm running a crew that mainly tackles big projects like shopping strips and office makeovers. My folks, Diane and Ron, are 58 and 60 and have this tendency to be absolutely terrible with money. They weren't always a financial mess, though. Back when I was a kid, Dad had a solid job at a paper mill and Mom did part-time work at a dentist's office. We weren't rolling in cash, but we were pretty comfortable. Everything went south when the mill shut down while I was in high school. Dad bounced from job to job without finding anything solid, and Mom had to switch to full-time work. They couldn't keep up their old lifestyle and turned to credit cards for everything. TVs, vacations they couldn't afford, car repairs, you name it. By the time I finished high school, they were neck-deep in debt, but acting like everything was fine. College was out of reach financially, so I dove straight into construction work and stayed at home to help with bills. Then there's Lena, my 27-year-old sister. She's even worse with money. She calls herself an aspiring content creator, but honestly, she's just another person posting selfies and unboxing videos for her 1,200 followers. Last year, she splurged $900 on this fancy lighting setup and keeps going on about being the next Kylie Jenner or whatever. Never mind that she took 5 years to finish a communications degree at a state school because she couldn't make up her mind. After a brief stint at a marketing agency, she left because her boss didn't get her vision. Now she's hopping between part-time retail gigs, living at home, eating their food, and running up their utility bills while claiming to build her brand. Lena tried starting this wild online fashion business using $15,000 of our parents' retirement savings only to see it go up in flames. She compared haute couture to designer garbage bags with sequins. Her Instagram was full of cringeworthy posts about boss babe life as the business went under. She offered me a laughable shout-out on her Instagram as a Christmas gift. I had just dropped $350 on the Apple Watch she hinted she wanted for ages. I even tried helping her with the business stuff, like setting up shelves and doing spreadsheets, but she said I was stifling her creativity. When her customers started complaining about wrong orders and delays, she called me for help. I told her no, and she stopped talking to me for a month, which honestly was pretty peaceful. My parents, though, eat up all her nonsense. Dad got her a MacBook Pro, supposedly for editing, but she mostly watches Netflix on it. Mom defends every flop she has as if they're achievements. Lena's exploring her passions, she says. More like she's exploring their wallet. Anytime I suggest she get a real job, I'm the jerk who doesn't understand the creator economy. Apparently that's about actually creating something of value, right? The worst was when Lena totaled her car while texting, and Mom called me instead of the insurance company. Dad had dropped their comprehensive coverage to just liability without telling me, even though I'd been paying for it. Surprise, Lena had spent that money on a business retreat in Miami, which was just a vacation. Since that whole boutique disaster 3 years ago, I've pretty much been their financial safety net. I'm covering their $200 month mortgage whenever they fall behind, which is every other month. Their house isn't even anything special, a simple 3-bedroom ranch in an okay suburb. They should have paid it off by now, but with all the refinancing, they've got 25 years left on a 30-year mortgage. Last year, I forked out $3,800 on Lena's car repairs because she ignored them until everything failed. But of course, she made it to Coachella that month. Then there's Dad's health bills. I ended up paying $5,200 for his medical stuff because he wouldn't go for cheaper insurance. He actually said the hospital food tasted better on his plan. He could manage his health with some meds and veggies, yet every time I buy them, the vegetables just rot and junk food vanishes. Mom's not any better. She insists on expensive name-brand meds for her blood pressure because she read some nonsense online. When I tried to explain generics are literally the same, she accused me of wanting her to die just to save money. She even made me drive her around to different pharmacies to get her preferred brand. One time, I was late sending money for their power bill because I was in the hospital with a work injury. A beam fell on me, tearing my rotator cuff. While I was doped up on pain meds, barely able to move, M called 4 times asking where the money was. Didn't even ask how I was doing, just that they needed that transfer. Talk about priorities, right? So there I was in the hospital, expecting maybe a get-well-soon balloon or a snack. But nope. Instead, my mom drops their water and property tax bills on my lunch tray right next to my Jell-O. No joke. She starts doing the math on how much cash I need to fork over once my workers' comp check comes through. Then she starts griping about how expensive the hospital parking is and suggests I throw in some cash to cover that too. Over the last 3 years, I've shelled out about $42,000 for them. I'm not pulling that number out of thin air either. I sat down one Sunday night, went through my bank statements, and did the math. Mortgage help, car notes, medical bills, unpaid debts, groceries, utilities, you name it, I've covered it. Meanwhile, I'm stuck living in this drab one-bedroom apartment with pipes that sound like they're auditioning for a horror movie every time I flush the toilet. But hey, family is family, right? At least that's what I kept telling myself as my savings account slowly withered away. I'm paying $1,250 a month for my little 680-square-foot cave in a building that might have been top-notch back when Reagan was in office. The location's handy, close to work and all, but the perks are a joke. The gym has a lone treadmill that's seen better days and a couple of dumbbells in a room I'm pretty sure used to be a closet. The pool's more often closed than open because of filter issues, but it's all I can manage while supporting 2 households. My buddy Chris, who I've known since high school, keeps telling me I'm getting played. He once even tried a full-blown intervention with spreadsheets showing how I could have bought a house by now. I was so ticked off, I ignored him for 2 weeks. Eventually, I apologized when I realized he was just looking out for me. Chris's prediction hit home last Thanksgiving when I got really sick, like 103-degree fever sick. I called my mom to tell her I couldn't make it to dinner, and her only concern was who'd carve the turkey since Dad's wrist was sore from golfing. So, of course, I dragged myself there, sweating and coughing, only for him to whine a few days later that I'd ruined his vacation by getting everyone sick. June rolls around, and it's the usual sweltering night in my place. The air conditioner's busted, and Terry, the maintenance guy, has been promising to fix it tomorrow forever. I'm just lounging in my basketball shorts, trying to cool off, when my phone lights up with my mom's face. She tells me Lena's throwing a big pool party for the 4th at her place, which I'm partially funding by covering $600 of her $1,800 rent. The kicker? I'm not even invited. When I asked if I should bring anything, Mom says, "Oh, actually, Lena doesn't want you there. She's got some influencer buddies coming over and doesn't want her less successful family crashing the scene." No offense. Really? After everything I've done? It hit hard. I've been living like a broke college student to help them out, and now I'm not even welcome? So I checked my bank app. Turns out I'd sent them $9,800 in the last 4 months alone. and I'd just booked a $1,500 lake house for a family getaway, which I promptly canceled. All those sacrifices, skipping nights out with friends, selling vacation days for extra cash, letting relationships fall apart because I was always stressed, or getting family calls mid-date. Like that time with Rachel, an awesome architect I had met. Lena called 5 times, interrupting our lunch to fix her Apple account for an Instagram Live. After that, Rachel never called back. The next morning, I reached out to my cousin Jake, who works for the electric company. "Yo, I need a favor." "Hey man, can you do me a favor?" I asked when Jake picked up the phone. "Dude, you sound really ticked off. What's going on?" Jake and I went way back. We were super tight as kids, until my family's money issues made me kind of disappear from everyone's lives. Jake lucked out with a solid union job right after high school. He and his wife Tara got themselves a nice little house, had 2 kids, and even a dog. The whole stable life deal I could have had if I wasn't always rescuing my family financially. I broke down everything for him. Years of bailing my family out, thousands drained from my bank account, and now getting uninvited from our family's 4th of July shindig because I'd ruin Lena's influencer image. "That's seriously messed up," Jake said. "Your sister's always been a bit of a sponge, but your folks should know better." I had a plan. Jake worked in the scheduling team at the local energy company. With summer in full swing, they were already gearing up for potential power cuts because everyone would be running their ACs. All Jake had to do was make sure my parents' area had a maintenance outage during the big 4th of July party. He laughed when I explained. "Man, that's crazy. I love it. Count me in. You sure I won't get into trouble?" I suddenly got a bit worried about dragging him into my family drama. "Nah, these maintenance outages happen all the time in the summer. I'll just tweak the schedule a bit. No one's gonna bat an eye." I also hit up my buddy Luis, who's in the HVAC business. His company handled maintenance at Lena's townhouse complex. "Are you sure about this?" he asked after I filled him in. "Just text me when you want it done." Luis agreed to shift Lena's air conditioner repair to after the holiday, when it was sure to break under the heat. All he needed to do was put her repair request on the post-weekend pile. A no-brainer, considering the emergency repair calls they got during heat waves. In the days leading up, I played it cool. Dad called asking for $200 for party supplies, and I sent it over without a word. Mom emailed to borrow my coolers, which I dropped off without hesitation. Lena was silent, except for a text asking me to hype up her party posts. Oh, the nerve. While prepping for the 4th, I also started plotting my escape from being their financial crutch. I called my bank and took my parents off as authorized users on my backup credit card, which was supposed to be for emergencies but had turned into their regular shopping card. Changed all my passwords and PINs, too. Even called the phone company to remove Lena from my family plan. I'd been paying for her endless data for years. The rep asked if I wanted to let her know. "Nah, let her find out herself," I said with a smirk. Jake swung by the day before the 4th with a beer in hand. "Ready for tomorrow?" He grinned. "Man, this heat wave's gonna be brutal. 97 degrees or something." "Perfect timing," I replied. On July 4th, my social feeds blew up with Lena's pool party updates. Mom was arranging food platters. Dad was in a goofy grill apron, putting together patio furniture I knew I had paid for, and Lena was striking poses with her pals in her new swimsuit. The whole scene gave off this ideal family vibe. They had fancy steaks, charcuterie boards, expensive-looking desserts, and decorations that looked professionally done. Balloon arches, personalized banners, and a photo booth with props, all for Lena's influencer facade. I recognized the pool floats from my Amazon account. They'd been sent to my place by mistake before I sent them over to Lena. She'd splurged $300 on inflatables on my account without saying a word. She even posted a story with some low-tier influencer with 5,000 followers, pretending she'd scored a big-time guest. So blessed to have Lifestyle by Jenna at my exclusive pool event, she flaunted on Instagram. Meanwhile, I spent the day at a baseball game with Chris, phone on silent. We had primo seats near third base. I treated myself to a jersey, a pricey drink, nachos, and even some dessert. "So, you going through with this?" Chris asked. "Yep," I said. "Tonight, I'm cutting the safety net." "About time," he said. "What are you going to do with all that extra cash you're not sending them?" I hadn't thought that far. Maybe start saving up for a house of my own. Or take a real vacation. Heck, maybe I can start dating again without having to bail every time Mom calls about a bill. "To financial freedom," Chris cheered, raising his cup. When I got home around 11:45 p.m., my phone blew up. "Sam, the power's out on our whole block. Call us back," was Mom's text. Dad sent, "Son, we need help. It's hot as hell, and the power's gone." Lena's was more frantic. "What did you do? The power's out and all my influencer friends are leaving. My makeup's melting." I scrolled through the messages, loving every single one. The satisfaction was real. Lena then texted, "Our fridge full of party food is gonna spoil. That's thousands gone." Mom pleaded, "Sam, please call us. It's an emergency." Dad added, "Neighbors say power won't be back till morning." Then social media updates rolled in. Lena's Instagram story read, "Worst night ever. Power outage ruined everything. Universe is testing me." One friend posted, "Thanks for the sweaty mess, Lena Styles. Maybe pay your electric bill next time?" Another commented, "Some exclusive event. Couldn't even keep the lights on. Fail." It was sweet revenge. I switched my phone off and slept like a baby for the first time in years. No more worrying about the next family crisis or calculating how much I could spare each month. Just pure, restful sleep. The next day, notifications kept flooding in. 47 missed calls, 23 voicemails, and 89 texts. I scrolled through them with a grin. The whole thing went down exactly as planned. Power went out just as Lena's party was peaking, and temperatures stayed in the 90s well past midnight. Her glamorous pool bash ended with warm drinks, melting desserts, and sweaty, annoyed guests. That was just the start. The AC had completely failed by 10 p.m., right before the power outage. Luis confirmed the repair team had some issues getting there. Lena's townhouse turned into a sauna without power and AC. Panic texts flowed, as most of her influencer crew bolted within an hour of lights out. So, you know how it is. Everyone was griping about the heat and the darkness. Then I get a text from my sister Lena that totally hits me. She's all, "I've lost all my credibility because of you," and whines about some influencer, Lifestyle by Jenna, unfollowing her. Apparently she was supposed to get featured in a collab. Meanwhile, my parents tried to save the day by bringing over some battery-operated candles, but it was a little too late. The food was going bad, and, without any music or fans, the party was a total bust. Mom was texting me like crazy, going from begging to threatening. "Your dad's blood pressure is sky high because of this stress. If something happens to him, it's your fault." Around 2 p.m., there's a knock at my door. It's Dad, looking all red-faced and sweaty, with Mom and Lena in tow. "The power's still out," he complains. "Now the lake house reservation's gone. What did you do?" I'm chilling at the door, enjoying the cool air from my working AC, while they're all sweaty and cranky. Lena's hair was a mess, Mom's makeup was smeared, and Dad's shirt was soaked with sweat. I hit them with, "Guess I'm not family enough for your party, but I'm family enough to fix your problems, huh?" Dad wasn't having it. "This isn't funny, Sam," he snaps. "It's 95 degrees in that house. Fix it now." So I step up and say, "Know what's not funny? Being treated like crap after supporting you guys financially for years." Lena storms past Dad, furious. You did this on purpose. You wrecked my shot. I had real influencers there. I'm like, you mean that girl with 5,000 followers selling knockoff handbags? Sure, I'm embarrassed. I laugh and say, you're just jealous because I'm actually building something while you're swinging hammers like a caveman. Lena fires back. Building what? Debt? Delusion? You've never made an honest dollar. I pull out my phone and show her, want to see what I've sent you over the past year? I'm scrolling through all the transfers, $600 here, $850 there. Turns out it's $16,400 just to her, not even counting what I've given to Mom and Dad. Where's that building something money coming from? Oh, right, my caveman job. Mom jumps in with, Sam, that's enough. How dare you talk to your sister like that when we've done so much for you? That was it. I snapped. All you've done for me? Are you freaking kidding me? I've given you $42,000 in 3 years. I live in a dump while Lena's flaunting a luxurious life from a house I basically pay for. Lena rolls her eyes. Whatever. Can I use your shower? I have a sponsored post due and I look like crap. I'm just staring at her in disbelief. She gets it, while my parents look at me like I'm the problem. I've had it. Get out, I tell them. All of you, get out of my building. Mom asks, what do you mean get out? Get out, I yell, loud enough that my neighbor peeks out. I'm done being your freaking wallet. Figure it out yourselves. You're going to regret this, Lena snaps as Dad pulls her away. You're dead to me. I slam the door, blocking out their yelling. The next morning, I call my bank. I freeze the joint account I have with my parents and change all my passwords. I delete my card from Lena's Apple account where she's been racking up expenses. I go through my auto payments and cancel the ones to my parents' energy companies, Lena's phone bill, and the extra insurance I'm paying on Dad's car. Each cancellation feels like a weight off my shoulders. I realize I've been bleeding $1,876.45 every month to Fionn and their lifestyle. Then I call the utility companies for both my parents' and Lena's homes. They'd sneakily put me back as a guarantor last month, probably because their credit sucks. My phone's blowing up the whole time. Lena says, my Netflix isn't working. Fix it now. Mom's all, Sam, why can't I access the emergency fund? Dad's like, son, this has gone too far. Cut it off now. I ignore them all. Instead, I book a flight to Bali for 3 weeks, leaving Friday. Something I've always wanted to do but couldn't afford because I was always bailing them out. I hire a real travel agent who helps me find a great deal on a beachside house. First big vacation? She asks as I make the deposit. First vacation where I'm only paying for myself, I reply. It's $4,300 total. Flights, lodging, some excursions. Less than what I usually spend on my family in a month. By afternoon, the family group chat is on fire. Mom's saying, can't believe you do this to your own family. Dad's like, after everything we've sacrificed for you. And Lena chimes in, hope you enjoy being alone forever. Then my cousin Jake calls, dude, your family's telling everyone you abandoned them. Your aunt called me, asking if you had a breakdown. Apparently, they're spreading rumors that I cut them off for no reason. Lena's writing tearful posts about toxic family and how money changes people, getting flooded with supportive comments. I laugh and tell Jake to share the posts. Lena's in full-blown victim mode, saying cutting off family is hard and blaming jealousy for her success. The best part, she's posting this from a healing retreat at the local Marriott, with room service receipts obvious in her Instagram stories. Somehow she goes from broke to booking hotel stays overnight. Jake says my parents moved in with Lena temporarily until their power's back, milking sympathy from relatives for cash. My aunt even sent them $500 after hearing their sob story. Whatever, let them say what they need to sleep at night. I'm done playing their game. The rest of the week is about ignoring their calls and prepping for my trip. I buy new clothes, a decent camera, and some hiking gear. Stuff I always wanted but never justified buying because my money was always spent fixing their problems. Then, on Wednesday, my neighbor catches me in the parking lot. "Hey man, your family was here again earlier, banging on your door for 20 minutes. Hey, is everything cool?" Those people looked super mad. "Sorry about that," I said. "It's family drama. My dad texted me on Thursday night, right before my trip. Your mom's crying herself to sleep every night. Hope you're happy." I finally replied after days of silence. "Actually, I'm happier than I've been in years. I'm flying to Bali tomorrow. Don't contact me." Mom immediately hit back with, "You're going on vacation while we're still struggling? How could you be so selfish?" So I blocked them all, finished packing, and ordered a nice meal for myself. For once, I wasn't stressing about their problems. I was on vacation, and you won't believe the chaos that unfolded while I was away. I just got back and my homecoming was a shocker. Never expected such madness from one vacation, thanks to my family not letting me chill in peace. So, get ready. Here's the scoop. First off, Bali was awesome. 3 weeks of sun, hiking, amazing food, and no family drama. I stayed off social media to avoid being tracked by them. For once, I was totally off-grid. I made some new friends at my resort, like this Aussie couple who couldn't believe I'd never traveled before. There were loads of funny stories, but that's for another time. Now here's the part you want to hear. When I turned on my phone after weeks, bam! Hundreds of missed calls, voicemails, texts, and emails. Deleted them all without a glance. Whatever mess they got into while I was gone was their problem, not mine. But when I got home, something felt off. The front desk guy gave me a weird look. "Glad you're back, man. Your family's been causing scenes here almost daily." Just what I needed. Inside my apartment, it was clear something was wrong. Someone had broken in. Drawers were open, the closet was a mess, and furniture moved around. Then I saw they had a key. How did I forget? Years ago, Mom guilted me into giving her a spare for emergencies. First thing I noticed was my laptop missing. They'd taken it and returned it, leaving a trace by accessing files recently. My filing cabinet was a disaster. Important papers scattered everywhere. My Social Security card was gone. So was my birth certificate. But the worst? My $2,500 emergency fund was missing from its supposedly safe box. The key was in my sock drawer, which had been trashed. I checked my credit report immediately. 4 new credit cards opened in my name while I was away. 2 already maxed out. A loan application was pending too. They'd stolen my identity in under a month. I filed a police report for theft and identity fraud right away. Next, I called my bank. Thank goodness for 2-factor authentication. They tried to access my accounts but couldn't get past security that sent codes to my overseas number. The bank flagged the attempts as sketchy and stepped up security. I spent the next 3 days on the phone in a panic, calling credit agencies, submitting fraud alerts, disputing charges, and noting every detail. My identity theft protection plan confirmed my worst fears. All applications were done from my parents' IP address using Lena's laptop. They didn't even try to hide it. Why? They never thought I'd fight back. I called my cousin Jake and told him everything. He paused for a moment. "They've been telling everyone you ditched them with no warning. Your mom's been milking the victim angle on Facebook, claiming they're drowning in medical bills. Let me guess, they haven't mentioned stealing my identity or robbing my place." "Shockingly, no," Jake said, chuckling. "But you should know Lena's been gloating to my wife's cousin about getting back at you. Something about teaching you a lesson about family loyalty. Not exactly being discreet." Perfect. I spent the next week securing everything. changed locks, installed cameras, and gathered all the evidence of fraud and theft. Then I got a text from my dad. "We need to talk. Family dinner tomorrow night. Be there or I'll call your boss about your unapproved time off." Great, now workplace threats. Instead of going, I rang my boss. He's a good guy. "Heads up," I said. "My crazy family might cause trouble." He laughed. "Let them. Your work speaks for itself, but thanks for the heads up." Instead of their dinner, I went to the police with my finished evidence file. The investigator looked over it and said, "This is open and shut. Arrests in 48 hours. And true to her word, Dad and Lena were picked up the next day. Living in a small town has its perks. Secrets don't stay hidden long. Lena's Instagram life blew up when people realized her lifestyle was funded by theft. My parents' friends started backing away. Now, I won't bore you with all the legal details, but their defense was pathetic. We were just taking what he owed us for raising him, not flying with the judge or jury. My parents got probation and had to go to financial counseling. Lena wasn't so lucky. Her past shoplifting and the laptop evidence got her 18 months. Her courtroom meltdown over her influencer career, tanking didn't help. Best part? They have to pay back everything they took, plus damages, for identity theft. Now, I get a check from them every month. How's that for karma? I'm already planning to move once my lease is up, looking for a new place with good security and no extra keys floating around.